So hello everybody, this is Bhante Joe here, and I'm just here on some rocks outside the Dhaatunakuti, and thought to record a short Awada for the internet, or Dhamma discussion for the internet, so thought that could start with a little meditation, so can lean forward a bit and arch the spine, and look about 3 feet in front, and close our eyes. And can spread thoughts of goodwill, wishing may all beings to my right be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make the mind infinite, can make it unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings to my right be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side and our left-hand side. May all beings to my right and my left be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. We can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side, our left-hand side, and in front. May all beings to my right, my left, and in front be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side, our left-hand side, in front, behind, in all 4 directions. May all beings in all 4 directions be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side, our left-hand side, in front, behind, and above. May all beings in all 4 directions and above be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can spread thoughts of goodwill to our right-hand side, our left-hand side, in front, behind, above, below, all around in every direction, everywhere. May all beings all around in every direction, everywhere be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make the mind infinite, can make it unbounded all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond, in every dimension. May all beings all around everywhere be happy and at ease. And can open our eyes and do a short Dhamma discussion for the internet. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. So I hope that everybody is having a great day, wherever they might be. And I've been here at Solitary Kuti for a couple weeks now. It's been a wonderful opportunity, and this is just some rocks. There's a large rock nearby, which is quite lovely because the sun heats it during the day and it's quite warm come nighttime. So it's a nice place to sit down. So was asked a question about wisdom, and the question was, what is the role of wisdom in Buddhism, and what's its impact on Sila and Samadhi? And so the role of wisdom in Buddhism is basically the faculty that cuts. So it's considered the highest faculty. It's, last week did a little post, it's this faculty of discernment that separates one thing from another. But it's considered the highest faculty because it's the faculty that has the capacity to cut the defilements from the mind. It has the ability to separate one thing from the other. And so its role in Buddhist practice is basically to learn to separate the mind from the defilements. One kind of does this in slower ways, and then eventually that can culminate. So one does it in ways that are permanent eliminations of the defilements. And this faculty of wisdom is the faculty that separates the mind from these defilements. So if somebody permanently ends some defilements, all of their defilements, their ability to do this depends on the faculty of wisdom. And the action that permanently eliminates defilements is an act of wisdom. It's not an act of samadhi, it's an act of wisdom, or discerning, cutting these defilements away. So in terms of its impact on Sila and Samadhi, wisdom is it's basically this faculty, because it discerns what's skillful and not skillful. I think discussed a little bit about this yesterday or last week. It's the faculty that allows one to turn Sila from a set of rules into an actual skill. So, for example, one, I think used this example last week or so, or another one, for example, one is sweeping, one is driving down the road. One learns to see when one's actions in terms of one's behavior are something that's becoming so careless that it's essentially a breach of the precept against killing, or if it's like a reasonable risk, because every time one steps at the door, it's likely that one will kill an animal somehow stepping on it, or maybe driving in the car unintentionally hitting animals, very small bugs, this kind of thing. So this faculty of wisdom is the faculty that allows one to discern where along this continuum of choices in terms of keeping Sila is acceptable. So it seems some are very clear cut. I mean, we don't go shooting and hunting, but at which point, say, I think this is the example from last week, is sweeping unskillful. So this is the role that wisdom has in Sila. Is it basically turns Sila from basically a keeping of rules, where one is basically just keeping rules by rote, into a skill. And this is where the Buddhist path becomes something that one has to develop using one's own wisdom. And kind of a teacher can't teach one every single variable in every single situation. One has to develop this skill, which then becomes intuitive. So its impact on Sila is that it turns it from this kind of rule-based thing into a skill, which is intuitive. One gains an intuitive sense of when one is crossing the line from wholesome to unwholesome. Even with something like keeping the 5 precepts, when is the line from crossing to wholesome and unwholesome? When is if my friend plays a pirated DVD, does that count as stealing? If I go to a party, or if I know I'm walking in a certain shopping district and there's going to be a lot of marijuana smoke in that district and I might inhale it, does this count as a breach against the precept against taking intoxicants? And if so, how can I mitigate these things skillfully? So this is another area actually where wisdom has an impact on Sila, and where Sila turns into a skill, is one learns to keep these precepts in such a way that one isn't necessarily kind of very forceful in them, in the way that one is kind of causing offense to everybody everywhere. So sometimes one of the skills in learning to keep the precepts is basically to learn to keep the precepts in such a way that nobody knows one is keeping them. And the faculty that allows one to do this is wisdom, kind of determine where is and where isn't a skillful cutoff point for just saying no bluntly or trying to, maneuver around. So if one is walking in a kind of district of a city where there's known to be a lot of marijuana smoking, this kind of thing going on, is there any way that one could, say, navigate to a different district to discuss with one's friends subtly a different place to have lunch or a different place to to walk through? Or there are kind of options like this where one could be very subtle and people might not even know the reason one is doing it. So this is another impact of wisdom on the precepts, is that another way that it impacts the keeping of the precepts as a skill is that it allows one to keep them without causing offense, keep them in such a way that it's kind of a little bit more seamless. It's not so jarring of an impact. So in terms of the impact of wisdom on samadhi, it has an impact in several different ways. One is that it's the faculty that it lets one discern whether or not one is choosing an appropriate meditation topic. So the ajahns and in the suttas, they have the simile of the cook, where a person watches their mind basically to see what it is that makes the mind peaceful. This ability to watch and discern what is and isn't working in terms of one's meditation is the faculty of wisdom. It kind of has other faculties in there, but it's wisdom that basically discerns when a particular topic is skillful, when it isn't. So on the basic level, it lets one choose the meditation topics that are appropriate for one's character, for the defilements in one's mind, and also teaches one when to change those topics or adopt different ones to counter other defilements. So at this very basic level, wisdom operates in samadhi, in keeping the defilements at bay and choosing topics that will help one calm one's mind down. It also helps in terms of one's development of concentration, in that basically sometimes if one is focusing on a particular topic, then basically one has to be very careful to observe if there's particular adjustments that one needs to make to the way that one is meditating in order to make the mind calm down more. Sometimes thoughts will come into one's mind that are related to whether or not related to the way that one is meditating, and one has to use this faculty of wisdom to discern whether this thought is skillful or not. Is this a thought that's going to give me more insights in how to make the mind calmer, or is this a thought that's going to kind of pull one out into last week's shopping trip? So this is another way that wisdom has an impact on samadhi. And also, even with these kind of vipassana topics, these topics, say like the recollection of the foulness of the body, or other topics like this, actually in the Kayagatasati Sutta, the Buddha explains that one going through these kind of vipassana topics, when one's When one does them successfully, then the mind kind of enters samadhi. And kind of, this is one thing that could happen to one if one is doing these kind of vipassana topics through, say, contemplating the foulness of the body. One's defilements drop away and the mind enters samadhi from that, just from this kind of dropping away of these defilements. So there's lots of there's stories about that, especially in the Thai forest tradition, kind of where monks are, especially with one monk, kind of battling against painful feelings in the body and examining them with wisdom. And every time the examination would become successful, or not every time, but when it reached a culmination and became successful, his mind would drop into samadhi. So in this way, wisdom, even as a meditation topic, can lead to samadhi. These things kind of not necessarily separate things, vipassana and samadhi. This element of wisdom is present in the development of samadhi, in choosing a basic topic, in refining the way one uses that topic to make the mind calm. And also, even if one chooses not a samatha type topic, a calm type topic, but one wants to develop in wisdom, one wants to develop in disenchantment towards various things, this topic in and of itself can lead to samadhi. So those are a few ways that that Buddhism can impact sila, can impact samadhi, and this is the role of Buddhism, in a role of wisdom in Buddhism. In other words, to permanently cut defilements. And it's a helper, it's a necessary ingredient on the path through the development of sila, through the development of samadhi, and finally through its use in the development of the higher levels of panya to permanently cut defilements. Okay, so hope that everybody has a great day wherever it might be, and wishing you all the blessings of Dhamma practice.